So Bears end up taking a L to the Tennessee Titans. Another, I don't even know what the word is anymore. Inept. I've used that so many times. Let's just stick with it. Another inept effort offensively. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Windy City Breeze.
Let's just dive right into it, dog.
We don't have no option. Like there's nothing to break down on this one. Like
no, it's not.
It's the same stuff that we've seen continuously. You saw a Bears offense that was unable to basically move the ball at all throughout the first, I'd say 3 full quarters, contrary to Dick Stockton's belief. By the way, can we get Dick Stockton just not calling football games at all anymore? Because
you know what, I thought Greg Jennings did a bad job today too, to be honest.
Bro, it's killing me when I hear Dick Stockton go, and Cordell Patterson for the first day. Oh wait, that's not Cordell Patterson, it's another black guy with dreadlocks. Like, fam, you gonna get every one of them wrong, huh?
No, what got me was what Greg Jennings was like, this is what the Bears do, they force you to be creative. They have this, it was doing a fake punt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they keep you on your toes and stuff like that. I was like, that's not been our offense in the last
at all. Have you watched us?
Like, that's not what we do, dog. That's not. I appreciate it. You know what, Greg?
I appreciate the attempt.
Good job, bro. I
appreciate the attempt. But you know what? I don't know how long has Greg been doing that too. I don't know how long Greg. Anyway, I digress.
He's a player though.
He was a player, but I don't know how long he's been calling games. You know, it take a minute to get into that.
I feel.
What is the biggest problem? I guess that's kind of the thing we need to address most. What's the biggest problem with this offense? Who's to blame for the problems with this offense? And how do we fix it?
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh, that was horrible.
Got you so choked up.
Yes, I did. I really did. As I said before, it's the offensive line. We see the few flashes of, offense that we had. Nick Foles was able to actually throw the ball. Receivers actually able to complete their routes, stuff like that. But if you don't have an O-line to protect the QB, I mean, now we got Nick Foles getting sacked, getting hit, intentional grounding. I've never seen so many intentional grounding calls in my life. So, I mean, you got that. So the funny thing is, I know Bears faithful are going to say, this is why we need Mitchell Trubisky. And you're right.
Oh, my God.
We do need a mobile quarterback. However, we also in this same game got to see Nick Foles make some good passes that showed he can actually complete some really nice throws.
Yeah. And when we saw it, when they literally were like, all right, Allen Robinson, you stand over there and you do what Allen Robinson does. Everybody else, stand on this line and block.
And throw it to, and my man got it. So
look, everybody else on the line, Allen, run. That's literally what we saw.
I want to know if he called that play or did Nagy call that play.
See, and here's the thing. I've heard, I just did the live. So Bears fans, they coming out spicy, of course, deservedly so. The Bears deserve all the spice that's coming their way. I'm not defending them in the slightest. Offensively, I'm not defending them in the slightest. And I want to make that clear because I think this Bears defense dominated on the line, and that's what it comes down to, the battle of the trenches. But I think if you watch I think it's the All 32. I think that's what it's called. I think you'll see more plays that were called that were schemed and worked and would have worked had Nick Foles had time to go to the hot route.
Thank you.
Literally every single time he's going to the underneath guy, and guys are like, he's not even making an attempt at the first down marker. He doesn't have the time for that part to develop.
Exactly.
You have to have the time for that play to develop. I saw Anthony Miller literally run a beautiful route, which is impressive for Anthony Miller, who struggled with his route running since being in the NFL, but run a beautiful route and would have been wide open. When I say wide open, it would have been a play where he could have caught it and probably scored a touchdown because nobody was on the right side of the field.
But
he had to go to the underneath, man, because there's a 400-pound human being coming through the line. And by the way, Jermaine Ifedi, how is it even possible for you to be deeper in the backfield than David Montgomery, who starts off 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage? How's that even possible?
That was made me spill my coffee, man.
and what's crazy is I don't think anybody on this offensive line played well today. But the players who were causing the plays to be blown up the most were the two starters that actually played all season.
I tell you a drive that infuriated me. The first decent drive we had, I think I sent you a text in the middle of it. I said they're just gonna ignore these false starts, right?
Yeah.
He did it like 2-3 times in a row. And then next thing you know, they called him 2 times in a row. And it was like, yo. So technically, if we're being, that's like five. It was like 5 times that I saw him. Yards. It was 5 times I saw him move. They only called it 2 out of the 5.
Yeah.
It was 5 times. I was like, man, what is going on?
It's 25 yards. It's 25 yards if they call every single one of those.
And if I had to hear Jennings say, man, every time the Bears get rolling, it seems like it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And it was
and it sucks, but he's right. I think that's the craziest part. Like when you look at this team, they make plays that get them going in the right direction. And then immediately, like what was it? What was that about? I think a 35-yard completion to Allen Robinson on the left sideline. Beautiful pass by Nick Foles. Puts it on the dot. Allen Robinson comes down with it. Very next play, rush from the left side, unblocked, completely unblocked. Nick Foles is going down, loss of 10. And so to me, this offensive line, and that's why I say, and I'll ask you, who's most to blame for the offensive ineptitudes? I have to say, if you can look at Matt Nagy, say his play calling, maybe, I would say his play calling hasn't been beautiful this season, to say the least. I think he should give up the play calling.
He hasn't put his QB in a position to win. When you know your QB doesn't have time, like the quote that what leaked out or was maybe missed, whatever, I'm alluding to right there. I mean, that
the Rams game, I believe. Yeah.
That's looking more and more like the case every single game in this losing streak. And I mean, this game above anything else really highlights it. Like those plays do not have enough time to develop. He does not have enough time to get those plays off. And so I'm not giving up on this.
I think my question is, what plays are there left though? You've literally got 3 guys doing a curl route and 1 guy going out for a medium route. They're not taking deep shots down the field. So what how much shorter can you get? They at 5 yards already. only shorter they can do is just turn around at the line of scrimmage and grab it.
The one thing I keep noticing is Nagy is known for coming up with these creative, exotic offensive schemes. Yeah. And so, maybe he has to dial that back. Maybe he just has to allow his athletes to just be athletes and just run.
I will say I like what he did better in the and because the run game wasn't working at all. The run game
shut that down.
The run game was completely shut down. But I like what Nagy did with scheming some passes, short passes that are essentially just runs. A little something out to the side to Cordell Patterson that worked today. I think I saw Anthony Miller do it a couple of days. It worked today. Those were plays that were working for you today. So It's not a run game, but it helps your run game. It kind of creates a false run game. Mm-hmm. But when I look at this team, I can't blame Nick Foles for what the Bears are. I can blame Matt Nagy, but at the same time, I have trouble going all the way in on it. I blame his play calling for certain things, but I still have trouble going all the way in on Matt Nagy is the reason the Bears suck, because he's calling plays that we haven't seen play out. He's calling plays that haven't developed because there's no time. And when I look at the players
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When I look at the players that are on this team, I'm looking at Ryan Pace, and I'm saying I saw a lot of people in the live saying, well, they went for the best available talent this year in the draft in the 3rd round because they didn't have picks before that. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that you didn't have picks? And I'm not saying I don't want Mac here. I think that Mac is a good pickup, but you got to hit on here's your names, your early picks. Mitchell Trubisky, bust. Leonard Floyd, I wouldn't say he's a bust, but for how high you picked him, the fact that he's not on your team anymore, he's a bust for you. He'll probably stay around the league about 10 years, barring injury. He'll probably stay around the league just because he's quick. He can get in the backfield. He's not a dominant player, but he'll be in the league. Kevin White can't make it on a field of players that literally no one else has played football before this week. He can't get on that field. Who else are we looking at? And Adam Shaheen, who actually has caught a couple touchdowns this year, but he's only had the ball thrown to him 8 times. So those are your top picks since you've been here.
So wait, he has a couple of touchdowns, but he only has a couple receptions.
Yeah, legit. I think he's got 2 touchdowns on 8 pass attempts.
Oh, that sounds like a great stat right there.
It would be if they were still looking at him. and look, the Dolphins extended him. So to me, your top picks are missing.
Yeah.
And so if you bring in a Khalil Mack, if you bring in if you build the dominant defense that he's built, he has built a dominant defense. If you build that defense, but on the other side of the ball, your star quarterback that you drafted doesn't hit, it doesn't matter. And we see that playing out right now. And so I got to look at Ryan Pace as the biggest issue with this Chicago Bears offense. He has not put players in place to be able to defend or to be able to protect your quarterback in the trenches. I saw one pocket today that Nick Foles was able to step up in, and I can say that he was the reason the play didn't pan out.
I know exactly what you're talking about too.
I saw one pocket today.
Yeah. Other than that, it was just like free fall.
It was a free for all.
It collapsed before it's a scrambled egg. It collapsed before it got started.
Fam, the fact that we had to see Nick Foles running, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's a problem.
I'm picking Paul Konerko in a foot race over Nick Foles. like legit. Like it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. But I can't look at Matt Nagy and say he hasn't come in here and improved the Chicago Bears. He hasn't come in here and built a culture. He hasn't come in here and built an environment that these players enjoy playing in for the most part. Now they're losing now. Nobody likes losing, but these guys come in. Even today, we can say that this Bears team didn't quit. And we've seen that all season. This Bears team doesn't quit. So I like the culture he's built. I don't like the plays he's calling all the time, but I like the culture he's built, but he doesn't have the players in front to do what he needs to do.
Here's an interesting thing. Are the Bears really that much better than the teams, the good defenses of the past? Is it even like, I think we just followed the same mode. It just hasn't paid out. It's like, I think it's a complete overhaul needs to happen, especially on the offensive end, because this seems to be the same mode. I mean, listen, correct me if I'm wrong. But this seems to be the same Bears team that we've been seeing for the last 15 years.
I'd go more than 15.
Good defense.
Much more than 15.
Good defense, and whatever talent we have on the offensive end is just sitting there squandering their best years.
Hold up. Let's not disrespect Jay Cutler like that, because Jay Cutler's offense is leaps and bounds better than what we're seeing.
Oh, no. What I can say, squandering his good years.
Yeah.
Because I think he had a lot left in the tank, and he did. You know, I'm not a Jay Cutler fan, but I do not.
But you think he was better?
He was a lot better than we gave him credit for.
Yeah.
Way better. I think we ruined that man's career. Like, legitimately. Him and the nonchalant, smug attitude, but still. Like,
although I've heard a lot of it is him too. Like they were saying, Jay Cutler as a player, if you out there playing with him, he's one of the best people in the world. But if he's the one that's out there trying to lead your team, you in trouble. If he's your leader offensively, you're in trouble. Devin Hester just said that on his, I forget who, I might have been Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
Might have been Bleacher Report. He was just saying that. He was like, he's one of the best quarterbacks you can have on your team if you need a play made. But if you mess something up or you need some leadership, he ain't the guy.
But how does that, is he just all into you? Like, what is he doing that would make him not the guy?
Like he's one of those guys that like he'll throw an interception. He'll be like, you should have ran that route harder, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not coming to you to try and improve it to make things better. He's coming to you just like, it didn't work out, whatever. And so I think I would still take those offenses over what we have right now. But I think you have to look at this Bears team right now. And I'll ask you this. After this season is done, depending on whatever happens, and we're coming into a easier part of our schedule for sure. I mean, our last two tough games, I would think, are the Green Bay Packers.
Nah, because the way Kirk Cousins was cooking today.
I mean, listen, it looks
Captain
great.
Kirk was cooking.
I'm sorry. Look, it looks great. He's still yet to beat Matt Nagy. And Matt Nagy has not put top offenses on this field.
Hey, listen, Matt Nagy is solely dependent on his defense.
Yeah, but guess what?
Orchestrate that much either.
And he's still yet to beat him. So I'm not picking the Bears to win the game, but I'm not as worried about Kirk Cousins as I am Delvin Cook. And listen, give the Bears defense credit. If I don't even know if I said it. If I told you, let me pull these stats up again. If I told you before the game that the Chicago Bears, hold on, where we at? Here the stats right here.
I know what you're about to say, too.
Would hold Ryan Tannehill to 158 yards. A Ryan Tannehill who has been putting up Pat Mahomes type numbers.
I knew what you were saying.
Ryan Tannehill to 158 yards. And Derrick Henry, okay, my light just decided to be goofy, to 68 yards.
To 68 yards.
Would you think that the Chicago Bears lost this game?
You know what? I'd make it even better, just to accentuate the point that you was going. If you had told me that Nick Foles threw for over 300 yards and no interceptions, and that we shut down Tannehill and Derrick Henry, who is a monster among men.
Hold on. No interceptions, 2 touchdowns.
No interceptions, 2 touchdowns. That's a big thing right there. And 300 yards. 335 yards. And so if you had told me that, would I have said that, yeah, the Bears lost that game? No. But this is what we call empty stats.
Empty.
Because last TD.
Let's not disrespect the defense.
No.
The defensive stats are not empty.
Offensively,
yes.
Nick Foles, that last TD came last 2 minutes of the game. And they practically gave, I'll tell you this, that was a great pass. So
couple great passes, couple great passes on that drive.
I don't know what the molasses got out of the O-line's butt because he had enough time to get that throw off, and you see what happens. And so at this point, it's 2 things I just want to be known. For one, Nagy does not. Who's our DC?
Chuck Pagano.
Okay, listen, Nagy's not that guy. Right. So
right.
I give that guy a lot of praise because he shut down a heck of an offense.
Agreed.
Right. So yeah, shout out to that guy. Nagy is the play caller. He works primarily with the offense. He has his QB in the pocket, and he's not doing enough to get that man some help. So at this point, especially going back to the comments of rolling to Minnesota, who we have to play twice coming up. Kirk Cousins has not beat Nagy, but Nagy ain't necessarily won anything against him either, in my personal opinion, because all the stuff Nagy's doing ain't really worked out yet.
Right.
So at this point, say my man name again, our DC, his sounds.
Chuck Pagano.
All right, listen, Chuck is winning over here. All right, Chuck has a safe job. If Chuck can quit right now, he's gonna get a job right away. I don't know about Nagy.
I can't say he would, because to me you gotta look at Nagy as for what he's done. And offensively, this team has not improved. Offensively, this talent has not improved. But I would look at, to me personally, Ryan Pace has to go off rip. He has to go. And then you allow the next guy who comes in to make that decision. If he believes that Matt Nagy's a good head coach, but maybe he's like, hey, man, you're not the play caller, though. You can't be the play caller. And if Matt's not on board with that, you got to go.
What's your favorite quote? Nagy, the play caller, is going to get Nagy, the head
coach fired. Matt Nagy, the play caller, is going to get Matt Nagy, the head coach, fired because he and I don't want this is the crazy part. I think he called good plays today. I think his play calling was good today. There was no execution.
He needs to pick a role and stick with it.
Well,
he's carrying too many hats right now.
Yes, he is. But to me, when you look at the play calling today in this game, I can't say the play calling was terrible. A lot of people were trying to say it was a terrible play calling because he went for it on 4th down. No, I want to see that.
No, I want to see that.
I don't want to see that aggressiveness. You know what the problem is? There's nobody standing in front of David Montgomery who can open up a hole. And by the way, if the hole's there, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm starting to look at David Montgomery. I'm not out on him, but I'm starting to look at him and be like, look, I've seen some holes pop up, and you haven't hit them.
You ain't hit them. Yep, absolutely.
And so you got to look at everybody on this offensive side of the ball, and basically just say, who is going to be here when the dust settles?
Well, let's look at that. Who are you keeping on the? Who are our must-haves? You know, for one, I think Jimmy Graham is not getting any opportunity that he needs to be getting.
Jimmy Graham has messed up a lot of his own opportunities too. Jimmy Graham's another one who, on a drive where you need to score a touchdown, where it's 4th and 1, and you're going for it right after Arlington Hambright causes a false start. You're trash, by the way, Arlington Hambright. Just wanted you to know that you're trash. You know, the veteran who's been in the league for 40 years at this point. Causes a false start again, and you can't go for it. Because Matt Nagy's still being aggressive on 4th and 6 is like, you know what? We're down. We got to go for it. Guess what happens? Jimmy Graham pops up again. What are you doing? On a hard count that your quarterback is doing, and you already know is coming.
Absolutely.
You've been in this league too long to be making those mistakes. And so I like Jimmy Graham in the red zone. I hate Jimmy Graham everywhere else. I swear I do. I swear, in the red zone, Jimmy Graham's advantage is he's 6'7".
Oh, my man's getting that.
You know what I'm saying? He's boxing out 95% of the defense.
Now let me ask you this: should they play Cole Kmet over?
Absolutely. I don't understand what this. I don't understand what it is with the Bears. I mean, let's look at this. Cole Kmet had no receptions today.
None.
I don't even know if he was on the field at all. I don't even know if I saw him. And then you're coming into a game where after Javon Wims basically just assaulted a man and is suspended for 2 games. And you have Riley Ridley get on the field, and all he gets is
jab, though.
2 receptions.
It's just like a great little quick pop, you know.
Yeah, but it's stupid because he has a helmet on. A helmet that's designed to take basically car impacts.
I was just trying to critique the man on his form a little bit. He looked a little scary because it looked like he forgot he had on pads too, because he flinched real hard. It's like, dog, ain't much gonna happen right there to
man, you. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's the ineptitude.
That is 6'6", 260.
He's the same dude. He's just younger. And listen, it's not like we haven't seen him make plays when he's gotten on the field and you've thrown the ball his way. He's made plays. And guess what? If you went to tight end, he might be able to get the ball because at least you have another option. And at worst case scenario, you're able to block with your 2 tight ends.
Absolutely.
And so to me, that's the biggest deficiency with Matt Nagy when it comes to getting guys on the field. And I think that goes into play calling as well, because maybe Bill Lazor or John DeFilippo look at these guys and they're like, why the heck can't he get on the field? Why are we not trying to get the ball to him? Mm-hmm. It looked like today Riley Ridley has some talent. The ball came to him. He caught it. He had, he had 2 receptions. Is it going to show me how many times he was targeted? On 2 targets. He can catch. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the route running. I don't know what it is, but Matt Nagy is not getting these guys on the field who, guess what? We drafted high for. So you're not going out and putting Cole Kmet on the field. You're not going out and putting Riley Ridley on the field. Riley Ridley not so high, but Cole Kmet, you're not putting them on the field. These are guys you could have replaced and picked offensive linemen for.
Man, listen. The thing about Cole Kmet that kills me, and I know this is like a complete overview of it, but for the season, he has 6 receptions for 79 yards, 1 TD, and he's averaging 13 yards a play.
He's big and can catch. I'm not asking.
Why don't we start 2 TEs again?
Because Matt Nagy don't want to. That's what it comes down to.
I mean,
that's what it comes down to.
And some of the plays that he's calling, it's like extra body protecting the QB at the very least.
I can't. I've seen Cole Kmet block.
It's not
He's not great. He's not great.
It's the extra second that I want. I just want the extra second.
A little bit. A little
bit. That's all I want.
And at this point, I've said it before. You've said in your scheme that you have plays that you can call that are going to protect Matt Nagy or protect Nick Foles much better.
I haven't seen it.
You need to call them. I saw him a little bit last week in the Saints game. That was it. I didn't see him this week. What happened to those?
Now, let me ask you this. Is this just a matter of the Titans? Because the Titans defense, it's pretty solid.
Yeah,
pretty solid.
The Titans defense hasn't played well this season.
They haven't, but they've had flashes where it's like, okay, this is who they can be.
Yeah,
and they're kind of coming around a little bit. I mean, they've had some setbacks, and I
think the most blessed thing for Nick Foles today was Jadeveon Clowney didn't play. It probably looks a lot. He took 3 sacks. It probably looks a lot worse if Jadeveon Clowney's out there pushing Jermaine Ifedi out of the way.
So that
by the way, Jermaine Ifedi, you're trash. I'm gonna take every opportunity to let these guys know.
Man, you can't do that to him. He's just trying to do his job, which he's not doing.
He's not doing a good job at it at all. You know what I'm saying?
That's like
I can't even give you an A for effort.
I think what you say. Get all we have to do is gain a little weight. I think I could do that.
Man, let's gain some weight. Me, you. Let's get AD. AD already at playing weight. Let's go get. Let's go get. We get 2 more dudes. We're gonna make it happen, and we can go get some money. Hey, look, it can't be worse.
It can't be worse.
It might not be better, but it can't be worse.
So I tell you what, this game is a wash. It's not too many things that we can take from it. We are who we thought we were in this particular game, unfortunately.
I'd say for the season. When we were 5-1, nobody. I was trying to be the optimistic one, and everybody else was looking at me like, "Come on, Pat.
Come on."
We struggled against the Giants, bro.
Now
hey, I'm here.
I will say this.
I'm here.
Looking at the games we've lost.
Yeah.
You know, we lost to Tampa Bay by no.
No, we beat Tampa Bay.
We beat Tampa Bay once. Forgive me, Bears fans. We lost to the Rams by 2 touchdowns. Watching that game, though, it seemed a lot closer. And it seemed like there was opportunities there that we just missed. The Saints game is the one that, you know, obviously.
That stung the most because I think that was very winnable because the Saints were literally trying everything they could to give you the game.
So looking at it, I mean, these are close games. We're not getting blown out. I mean, if you want to consider the loss against the Rams a blowout, I mean, it's a 2 touchdowns.
I think the
watching a game, it came differently, you know?
Yeah, so. I think the loss against the Rams is your worst because the defense didn't play well in that game either. Like they played they didn't play well. And all the other games, you could say they're competitive, but it's like today. There were games like today where, yeah, you could say they're competitive, but it was 24-3 at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a competitive. Yeah, the Bears came out. They didn't give up. They put up points at the end of the game. That's not competitive to me. You're putting up points on a team when they're playing prevent defense, a team that's defense has struggled all year. We're making defenses that are terrible look like world beaters. So at the end of the day, you know, we could beat a dead horse.
Yeah, I think at this point,
let's look forward to next week.
I was actually just about to do that. I was about to say, you know what, we're now 5-4.
Yep.
So we still have a winning record. You know, it's not like we're like in the NFC East or anything like that.
If we were in the NFC East, I'd feel good about it because we'd still be in first place.
But with that being said, here's the thing. Here's our lineup. We got in our next couple of games, we got our bye week coming up. So week 11, we got a bye. But before then, we got the Vikings. I want to get your thoughts on the Vikings. So realistically, depending on how you feel about the Vikings and our chances against the Packers, we have a good chance to turn this around because we play both of those teams twice. And so we play Vikings, then we play the Packers, then we have the Lions, which I think should be that should be an easy one. The Houston Texans, their O-line is just as trash as ours. So I expect us to get that one because our defense is good. We got the Vikings again, and then we got Jacksonville, which
man, they okay. Yeah, they tanking.
Yeah. So off top, I know that we can handle the Texans. I think we can handle the Jaguars. Um, I think that the Vikings are not going to let us roll over just out of spite.
Yeah.
Just out of spite, because they're not doing anything. What are they? What are 3-5?
2-5. They might be 3-5 now. They might be 3-5. Yeah.
They just won today. I think they're
Yeah,
3-5.
yeah.
So let's look at that. Give me your thoughts on the Vikings, and then let's roll into our rivals.
I think with the Vikings, you got to look at is this defense going to be able to do what it did to Derrick Henry today? Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league, arguably the best running back in the league, arguably the most unstoppable running back in the league, and you stopped him. Can you do that with Delvin Cook? Delvin Cook rushed for over 200 yards today, I believe.
Oh, my man was cooking today.
And
cooking today.
Let me make sure. Let me fact check that. But I think if you, to me, Kirk Cousins is you can get to Kirk Cousins. If you hit Kirk Cousins a couple of times, if you're in the backfield with Kirk Cousins, you can get to Kirk Cousins. But it comes down to are you going to be able to slow down Delvin Cook? Yeah, Delvin Cook, 206 rushing yards, 9.4, 2 touchdowns. By the way, his backup, Mattinson, 69 yards on 12 attempts. So that Detroit rushing defense really got carved up there.
Here's a stat for you, 166 yards after contact.
Yeah. He's a problem. He's a problem.
There's a grown man out there.
Yeah, he's a problem. And so it comes down to, can you stop him? But here's the thing. Those are my keys for the Bears to win versus the Titans, and the Bears did all of them. They kept Ryan Tannehill under 200 yards passing. They stopped Derrick Henry for the most part. No touchdowns on his part. And the only part you couldn't do was anything offensively. And so can I pick him over the Vikings? I'll pick him over the Vikings just for the fact that Kirk Cousins has never beaten Matt Nagy in his career. I'll pick them for that reason, but it's not a pick where I'm like, yeah, that's a lock. Let's do it. Let's go put money on that. Bet the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, moving forward past that, are there winnable games? It depends. Look, Packers are dominant, but that offensive line ain't dominant.
Yeah, I saw what Tampa did to the Packers, and I say, yeah, the Bears can do that.
The Bears can absolutely do that. And the Bears take more pleasure in doing that.
Yeah, and so looking at that, I was like, man, we have a fighting chance. Yeah. I think we split the pack. I think we split both. I think we destroy the Lions, we split the Vikings, and we split the Packers. So
I think the Lions got demoralized today.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they're not. So all this being in our division.
Yeah.
I think we could come out matching the Packers.
Now here's the thing: how do you say we do go down here? We win these games. We split the Packers. We split the Vikings, as you said. We beat the Jaguars, beat Houston, and who else is on there? And we beat Detroit again. So what is that? That's 1, 2, 3.
Was it 4 wins and 2 losses?
That's 5 more wins.
5 more. Hold on. Make sure.
So that means you end your season 5-2.
So let's just say
if the Bears end this season 5-2.
I think they win against Minnesota just because they need to.
Right.
Week, right. I think they're going to take an L against the first time going against the Packers.
Okay.
So that will put us at
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. So what? 6-5.
6-5.
I think we destroyed the Lions, so that's 7-5.
7-5.
Destroyed the Texans. I think that's
8-5.
And then I think we're going to take an L against the Vikings. Like I said, split. So that's
8-6.
8-6. Jacksonville Jaguars, get them out of here.
9-6.
9-6. And I think the Packers may let us have that last one just because.
End of the season.
End of the season. I don't. Depending on how they're positioned, I don't see them giving us much.
So 10-6. So if this Chicago Bears team ends the season 10-6, how you feeling? Playing. Nothing changes. Playing just sad. Like they playing.
I'm feeling sad.
Playing just like they playing.
That's 10-6. I'm feeling sad because that's the type of thing that's going to keep people their jobs that they don't need to. It's hard to, especially in football. Yeah, it's hard to get rid of people when you're 10-6.
And when they're winning, and that's why a lot of people are like, get Matt Nagy out of here. It's like, fam, look at his record. He's not going nowhere.
I mean, they got Lovey out.
Yeah, but they got Lovey out because people weren't listening to Lovey anymore.
I don't think people listen to Nagy. He just play calling.
I can't.
He's just play calling. You have to listen to the play caller. I think that's a job security at that point to some degree. But I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. Outside of that, like the cracks are already there. The interesting thing is this. They say Nagy and Foles are like this. They sit together on a plane, on a bus, whatever, right? They're good friends.
Right.
They don't blame each other. They just think about how to get better. Right. And I think the stuff that came out, whether, I think Foles did a good job trying to clean it up, but I think it's true. You're calling stuff that we don't have enough time to execute. And I think that's a real conversation they're starting to have. And after a while, it's like, hey, listen, it's not our QB after a while. You got a pocket QB. It's your guy. Cool. Nagy needs to get more vocal with Brian, or I'm pretty sure he's going to be the first to go. I'm pretty sure because he's wearing too many hats.
Right.
He's the ball guy.
Right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's your play caller. He's your head coach. And realistically, the best part of our entire team is Chuck and his guys.
True. True. Yeah, I mean
Ryan doesn't control Cole Kmet not playing.
He doesn't. Ryan doesn't control Cole, but
he doesn't control.
See, I don't know. See, I don't know.
We could use it.
This is the thing. I don't know because I do think that because Ryan picked Mitch, that's why Mitch stayed there so long. But I think that the quarterback position is such an important position that he would actually call down and be like, no, he's got to play.
So here's the only saving grace for this.
Yeah.
COVID season. You technically have we technically have a new QB. It's his first year there. He came in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
And so he hasn't had enough time to gel with these guys because of this back and forth struggle that they've had there. So there's a lot of narrative surrounding it that I think will work in Nagy's favor. Right. Now, I wanted to go on the record. I don't have anything against him, but it's just because of all the hats he's wearing and all the stuff that I honestly feel like he took some gambles. They're great gambles. They're different. As a Chicago Bears fan, we haven't seen a coach kind of take these type of risks on the offensive end, and I like what I'm seeing. But at the same time, the situation around it, it's like I really wish Nagy would have spent a little more time trying to make it work with Mitch.
With Mitch.
Not because I wanted Mitch to be the QB, but just because it gives Nagy to say, hey, listen, I tried, it didn't work. And technically he did. He did. But he didn't scheme right for Mitch. And now that he has Foles, he doesn't have the team for Foles.
Right.
And so he looks like the bad guy.
He didn't have the scheme for one guy, and now he doesn't have the team for the other. And it looks all bad back on him.
And so it's like, listen, my football knowledge, as some people would know, hey, I'm still learning this game here. All right. I'm okay with that. I'm taking a Pat McAfee approach to this. Hey, you beat me. Yeah, I'm standing on the shoulder of a giant right here because Pat has been doing it for a while. We're talking about this Pat here, not Pat McAfee. This Pat here,
both Pats,
has been doing it for a while. So with that being said, man, just from what I see from my limited knowledge, it's like, man, I'd get rid of that guy. Just as an executive decision, I would get rid of that guy. No hard feelings, but it's just like, dude, it's not working.
I don't know.
And I got a defense, and I paid this guy $100 million, and I'm working that defensive end to the bone.
Right.
How long are we gonna have that dominant of a defense?
I mean, it's aging. It's turning, and not to say that they're old, but every game they play, every week they play, they get a little bit older, and they're taking more hits, and they're taking more injuries. They're getting more beat up, and so you definitely have to look at that defense and say, all right, well, this is coming to a point where it's not going to be a dominant defense like it is. Khalil Mack's not going to be the beast he is. Akeem Hicks is not going to be the beast he is. And I think you've got players who are younger that are coming up that are turning into pretty good players. So you'll be able to transition into that next generation. But at the end of the day,
it's a great clip right here, man. Is history repeating itself for us?
I think absolutely.
Man, because I think
absolutely. This is the same things we've said since 1986.
No, I remember Urlacher. We wasted his good years.
Wasted Urlacher's good years. Urlacher got the one Super Bowl, didn't get it done. We absolutely are wasting his defense. We're absolutely wasting his defense, and that to me that's why I have to look at Ryan Pace's ineptitude in the draft as the most egregious thing out of anything. because you have a guy who hasn't successfully addressed the offensive line, who knew that there was a problem coming into this season, and he didn't. He picked a guy in the 7th round who looks pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And you're not taking those picks high, and the reason you're not getting those high picks is because you're giving them away for guys like Mitchell Trubisky. You're giving them away for guys like Kevin White. You're giving away for guys like Leonard Floyd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're giving away and you're not getting anything back. Now it's different if you give that pick away and you go draft Deshaun Watson. That's a very different team. And I'm not saying Deshaun behind this offensive line could be a world beater, but I think they'd be a little bit better. And you're not sitting here looking at your defense like, should we have traded for Khalil Mack?
Mm.
And so
we absolutely should have traded for Khalil Mack. Though.
Yeah, I don't like that narrative, but I understand why people are saying it, because you lost the picks.
Yeah,
you lost the picks that came with it. So it's tough to me. As this Bears team goes forward, if they do finish, like you said, 10-6, honestly, I think they could sweep the Vikings. I'm probably with you on splitting versus the Packers. Unfortunately, makes me sick to say. And so I still think, as bad as this team has played, I think that they could still end up 11-5. But like you said, that's going to keep people's jobs who probably don't deserve to keep their jobs. For me, it's Ryan Pace. For you, it's Matt Nagy. Guys, let us know how you feel in the comments below. I mean, honestly, you look at this team and it sucks, but there's still a winning record team on paper. Will they finish the season with a winning record? For everybody who's saying the Bears are going to go 5-11, I guarantee that doesn't happen. If the Bears go 5-11, we won't have to worry about which one of them will be fired, because they'll both be gone.
Here's an interesting question. Let's say they don't go 5-11. Let's say they don't go 10-6. What's 9-7 is not a bad record.
9-7 means you went
9-7.
That means you finished your season 4-6, right? Because where we at?
9-7.
So we're 5-4 right now. So you finished your season
4-3.
4-3.
It's not bad.
No. It is, because you started off 5-1. This is the thing. That probably gets you into the playoffs with the extra playoff team. It probably gets you into the playoffs. Any of those top records we said probably gets you into the playoffs. Heck, 8-8 might get you into the playoffs.
The crazy thing about it is it's not bad, but then you got teams like the Niners who are outperforming their limitations right now.
Yeah, and that's what you got to look at.
They're 4-5, and they're on a 2-game losing streak, but they've been decimated all season. Yep. And so it's like, how are they scratching and clawing for these wins? The Panthers just took a huge loss. Oh, it wasn't a huge loss. It was a gut-wrenching loss because they lost by 2.
Right.
They just got Christian McCaffrey back. So, I mean, how do they finish? And I bring all that to say,
you lost by 2 to one of the best teams in the NFL.
And I bring all these teams up, not to, I know they're in different divisions, all that stuff like that, but it's like everyone's going through something.
Yeah.
They're scratching and clawing to kind of position themselves the best they can.
Yep.
If without those type of struggles, like injuries, we don't have our defense.
This week was bad.
This week was bad. But for the most part, most of our injuries have been on the defensive end. Am I wrong?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, and then we have some people who opted out. I want to make this a fair assessment.
Eddie Goldman opted out, but I think that's the only one.
Right. So realistically, when we look at the Panthers, when we look at the 49ers, we look at all those teams that had these like injuries and stuff like that.
And the 49ers were decimated by the opt-outs.
Oh, and then let's throw in just because, Cam that's a different podcast, but let's say Patriots, they're getting decimated on both ends too. Yep. Injuries, COVID, and opt-outs.
Yep.
So, if those teams end up with winning records, I think it'd be safe to say that even at 97, the narrative could be like, okay, these teams got it done with way less and they're only, a game or 2 back. Yeah, let's do an overhaul. Like I don't see that. I don't think we end the season with a losing record. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best scenario for us to.
I think if any of those scenarios play out, if you do go 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 11-5 would be your best case scenario. And I would
11-5. No one's getting fired at 11-5.
I don't think anybody's getting fired at 10-6. Heck, I don't think anybody's getting fired at 9-7 because you can go to George McCaskey and say we had these problems here, and here, and this is why it wasn't our fault. Now, if you finish the season out and you're 8-8, 7-9, that means you finished your season with 2 wins, 3 wins. Some heads might roll on that. One. But if you finish 9-7, that means you won 4 games. 10-5, you won 5 games. 11-6, you won 6 games. If you finish like that, nobody's getting fired. Nobody's getting fired. And so you're still in that same repeating cycle, and you'll probably go into another draft where Ryan Pace is making the picks. He's going to have a draft pick probably in the 18s, and it's going to be a white guy who's 6'7" from a Division III school that he saw one time down in New Orleans.
You know what? I don't want to make this long. We already wrapping up. Hey, listen, it's tough, man. It's tough being a Bears fan today.
It's really definitely tough. I think that's the worst part. It's just like, God, it's not getting better. Like, I don't know if it's getting worse, but I can clearly see that it's not getting better.
I do want to end on this note. I still think Nick just hasn't had the right opportunity. For some odd reason, Nick ain't being Nick, but I don't think it's Nick's fault. It's the O-line.
I can't blame Nick for what's happening. I mean, in the last 3 games, I think he's been sacked 12 times.
Whew, I got to pull that stat up.
I think he got sacked 5 times last week. I want to say he got sacked 4 times the week before and 3 today. And so I can't blame Nick for that. Like, I can't look at Nick Foles and say, yeah, dog, like, you're the reason that this Bears offense isn't moving. Now, I think that he's missed some easier passes, but at the same time, most quarterbacks start missing passes when they're spending the entire day running for their lives.
But yep, it's a tough day to be a Bears fan, man. But I'd say this: it is always a wild ride, man. It's always a ride.
Hey, look, and the worst part is we're gonna do it again next Sunday.
Yes, we are. Because if they have a dominant game next Sunday,
we're going to be in there talking trash. We're going to be in there talking trash.
Winning cures all.
And I'm telling you. But we want to know how you guys feel in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Make sure to stay tuned in to the Windy City Breeze. We have so much more content coming for you this week. I'm going to get up out of here. Appreciate Pino Skateboard joining us yet again on Windy City Breeze. Or the Windy City Breeze. Y'all know what I be doing. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again to continue watching our content. Click the links here. Check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. And unfortunately, but always, bear down. Peace.